This problem is one directly from your homework, where we are asked to identify key features of the rational function f of x, and then after you're done finding the key features, you're going to sketch the graph. I'm going to go ahead and start. Since it's already in factored form, I'm going to rewrite this in simplified form, and I can see that the x plus 6 factors are going to cancel, so we're left with x minus 3 over x minus plus 4. From here, since I was able to remove these factors, that means that I'm going to have a removable discontinuity at -6. It's -6 because that is where our function would be undefined because we would end up dividing by 0. To find the y value, we need to plug -6 into our simplified function for f of x. And so I'll have -6 minus 3 divided by -6 plus 4. So I will end up with a -9 over a -2, which will give me a positive 4.5. Next, I'm going to go ahead and go over here to my graph, where I'm going to plot the point, -6, positive 4.5, so I know I'm going to have a hole there on my graph. Next, I'm going to identify any vertical asymptotes, and so I can see that the factor that was left was x plus 4. That means that when x equals -4, we're going to have another discontinuity in our graph. So a vertical asymptote at -4. Okay, so we have two discontinuities, a hole, and a vertical asymptote. From here, I'm going to put what's remaining into our mixed number form. Since I'm dividing by an x plus 4, I can use synthetic division. My coefficients are 1 and -3. Bring down the 1, multiply by -4, add it to the -3. I end up getting -7. So mixed number form is going to be 1 plus -7 over my divisor, which is x plus 4. What this 1 tells us is any non-vertical asymptotes. Another way that you could see that we're going to have a non-vertical asymptote at y equals 1 is by looking at the coefficients of our original problem. If I were to multiply all of this out, I would be left with an x squared as a leading term over another x squared as a leading term, where the coefficients in front would be a 1 over 1, which that ratio ends up giving me a 1. And so that tells me that as x approaches infinity, our function is going to stay around this y equals 1 line. And so that gives me my non-vertical asymptotes. Next, to get an idea of how to sketch this graph, we're going to identify the x and the y-intercepts. And the x-intercepts occur where my numerator is equal to 0. However, keeping in mind that we already canceled these other terms, we just have an x minus 3 over an x plus 4. So I'm going to set my numerator equal to 0 and solve, and so x will equal 3. So my x-intercept would be the point 3, 0. Now that we have our x-intercept, our last thing to find is going to be our y-intercept. And to do that, I'm going to plug 0 in for our x values. So I'll have 0 minus 3 over 0 plus 4, which will give me a -3/4. Written as a point, we would write this as 0, -3/4. And from here, that's going to be right about there. So I know to sketch this that my curve is going to be super close to these asymptotes, cross through the y-axis, cross through the x-axis, and then stay close to that other asymptote there. Same thing's going to happen over here. It's going to hit this hole and then keep going, and so we are done.